what's the difference between struggle that is directing you away from the thing you're supposed to be doing versus struggle that's really just adversity and testing your commitment? What's up, everyone? Dustin here from Manifestation Academy. Sometimes we feel drawn toward a certain path, right? But then there can be a struggle. There can be challenge. And sometimes we're like, am I supposed to be doing this? Is this really for me? Versus, is this just a test of adversity? Is it helping me get better, helping me do better, helping me to overcome? How do we know and balance the difference? Because sometimes the feeling is the same. We might feel drawn to a certain direction, but then it gets hard and we're like, maybe this isn't for me. And then we go to a different direction and we see, yeah, that thing wasn't for me. This was the thing for me, right? But sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes we go down a path, but we've hit adversity, but we keep going when we persevere, and eventually we get to the goal and we hit it. How do we know what's what? What is like our purpose versus getting off our purpose and getting pushed out? So is it our purpose and we have to overcome and go through adversity towards it? Or is it not our purpose and if the universe is trying to say, no, not your path, do this other thing, at least do this first? So there's no easy answer to it, but I'll share an experience that I had today. I have felt I want to get into software, understanding software business. I've dealt with a lot of adversity doing that, learning about the software business. It's competitive. There's this very new approach in terms of how you approach business. It's a very distinct approach, different than many other industries. I've been trying to build a software company, but it hasn't been, going that well. I've learned that I'm not really following the elements like I should be, so I'm getting back to that path to make sure I follow those elements. But I hit these walls, and I've been questioning myself, am I supposed to do more of this software? Am I supposed to do more of like the spiritual learning and teachings and things like that? So what I did was I actually tried to do just spiritual learnings and teachings. I would just go read spiritual books all day. And I found that I could only do about 3 hours a day before my brain would start to burn out. And I tried that for about a week, and 3 hours kept being like the max I could do before my brain would start to burn out. So I was like, okay, well, 3 hours only for the whole day, that's not a lot of, like, I feel like I'm wasting the day only spending 3 hours. Also, as much as I loved it, there's a part of me that wasn't feeling fulfilled in other realms. What I did was I pivoted and I said, I'm going back to the software. I'm going to focus on building the software stuff, focus on that. And I'll read spirituality kind of in between. And I actually created this plan where I could actually still do about 2 to 3 hours a day of spiritual reading in the morning, at night, on breaks, things like that. That actually supplemented and helped me because for whatever reason, I like to do multiple different things. So bouncing back and forth actually helped me. But I still hit these adversities with software. And just today, I was working on my software, then I'm thinking, should I do more spiritual stuff today? I was this close to like going back to the spiritual thing. Like, oh, let me go back because this is hard. And I felt like I should go back. But I knew I was just bouncing back and forth like a ping pong ball. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to stay focused. For this time period, I know I'm committed to, I'm going to stay focused. So even though I felt inclined, I pushed through and I stayed focused. I did it. And there was this point for about an hour where it was really, really hard. I really felt like I was getting pulled the other way, but I would just stay focused. Next thing I knew, after I finished that hour, after I finished some training videos I was watching, this whole thing opened up. I all of a sudden got this amazing idea of how I could help the software. It was by calling some people that I knew that maybe would be interested in it, that would be a good product market fit, that I hadn't really thought of before. I kind of thought of it, but I hadn't taken action. And all of a sudden, it just came to me like, take action on this. And I did, and everything started to shift. They saw the thing, they loved it, and they was like, this is amazing, let me tell other people. And it completely shifted, just completely altered the course of where I was going. So I was looking back, and I was fascinated by that, because it was, again, that feeling where, should I go do the other thing? You know what I mean? And sometimes, again, that's hard to distinguish is, am I getting pushed to go do the other thing? Or is this just adversity and is it testing my commitment? What I am seeing, what I've felt is okay to kind of back to ping pong back and forth. But look overall, look at 5 years, 10 years, your life, overall life. Do I want to be really good at this thing that I want to learn? Or do I want to really succeed in this area, right? If I'm looking back, if I'm 100 years old, I'm looking back on my rocking chair, sitting in my rocking chair looking back, will I have regretted not doing this thing? So what I would say is, for me, like, I really want to be good at software. That's a commitment. So if I look at it as this is part of the path that I want to go, then I can commit to it and know that I'm going to try to yank me off the path. That doesn't mean it's God or our soul saying, no, different path. It just means I'm going to test to see if you really are committed to this. Because if you are, I can send people your way to help you. I could send clients your way. I know you're not going to be wishy-washy or move back and forth. If you're strong and you're dependable and you're focused, I could send people to you so you can help and serve them. But it's going to test you because it doesn't want to send people to you if you're not going to fulfill on it, right? Sometimes we say, I was praying, and you hear stories of like, or I've seen online, like somebody's praying and then all of a sudden a new person comes to their life. Someone who's teaching something, right? You pray for something and then all of a sudden someone comes to your life and you're able to learn from them. And you say, oh, my prayers were answered by this other person. If other people are praying for what it is you can provide and God's going to send them to you, the universe is going to send them to you, you have to make sure you're dependable, because otherwise they're going to doubt their faith in God and the higher power if they send them to you and you don't pull through. So it's very important that you are dependable, you pull through, and God is going to test you on that beforehand. Look at the area. Do I really want to succeed in this area? Do I really want to be good at it? Then commit to it and know you're going to get hit with the winds, because it's trying to test, can you be counted on? Can you be dependent on? If I send people, will you show up for them? And it will test you. Now, if you see this area and it's not a long-term thing, not something that you really feel you resonate with, then maybe that's not. Maybe you are getting pushed toward something else, pushed toward a different area. Or it could be just internal blocks, internal beliefs. Let's say you want to learn finance or be wealthy and you just have an internal block towards it. So you may not, be able to don't think you should go that way. That's one consideration to look at as well. Another thing to consider is, as much as I feel like I do want to pursue the software, I also do want to pursue the spirituality. But I've just learned that pursuing the spirituality full-time for me right now is not the thing. Software is the full-time thing for now. I'm spending 2 to 3 hours a day on the spiritual stuff. So finding a combination was very, very helpful to me. And I only knew that by trying. By pursuing the spiritual learnings and teachings, I found out 3 hours a day is my max. Can I actually implement that into a day-to-day program as I pursue the software? And I could. 30 minutes in the morning, 30 minutes at night, 30 minutes as I drive to an office, 30 minutes as I drive back, 2 hours, and then go for an hour walk at the end of the day. That's 3 hours. Without really wasting any extra time. It was 3 hours just by kind of adding it into different components of my life. And I have found, for me, that is an amazing, amazing balance. Now, that still gets tested. I'm not consistent with that every day. That's my go-to. So if I get thrown off one way or another, I come back to the center. And I'm still testing it out. But I have found that that has been a good working formula. So even today, when I felt like, oh, let's do something else, the winds were testing me. I said, no, this is the formula. Let's try it. Let's keep focused. Even though I didn't feel like it, I kept focused on it. And I had that big breakthrough at the end of it. To summarize, if you're not sure the adversity is pushing you away or just strengthening you and testing your commitment, look overall. Is this overall an area I want to succeed at? Do I keep getting drawn back to this area? Something that I just feel like I want to really pursue? Do I have a long-term vision or want to have a long-term vision or goal? Then it's probably something to pursue, but also be open-minded that maybe there's other things that you could fit in. It's more minor things. Maybe at night you're doing it, it's not too intense on your mind. It's actually helping and supplementing your main thing. So like spirituality helps supplement the software because it opens up my spirit more, opens up that knowledge. The software helps supplement the spirit because it gives me kind of a real world thing to apply some of these things to in my mindset. So they really, really complement each other. So I hope that helps. I hope I didn't ramble too much. It's me trying to get these ideas and concepts into organized fashion and form to help you out. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Questions, comments, feedback. I'd love to hear it. Also, like this video, subscribe to our channel. Talk to you soon.